What's up, everybody? It's been a long time since I've made an actual real video. I've been doing mostly live streams for the past couple of weeks. Back in around August of 2023, I decided to start up my 200k FTMO challenge starting on January 1st. I did a lot of practice in the months leading up to now. Now that we're in 2024, I did indeed start my challenge as planned. And it's going really well. As you can see here, I've right around 15k so far for the year. I've passed 10 FTMO challenges so far, which was great, but I was not experienced enough to be able to actually keep the accounts and make a consistent profit. So this is the first time that I feel 100% confident in my trading skills. I'm still making small unnecessary mistakes here and there, but I can definitely count on making at least a 1k profit every week from the 200k account, even with those mistakes. I've made a lot of changes to my trading for the new year. I no longer trade the odd CAD and NZD CAD pairs at all. I also added in the S&P 500 along with, wait for it, gold. I always saw gold as kind of an inconsistent and unpredictable pair, but now I see it's actually a great addition to the roster. I've made a nice profit from it already, even though I'm new to trading the pair. The S&P is even better. I realize now that the pair is almost always trending upwards, so that means any significant pullback leads to a very big move back up. I've actually made the bulk of my profits from this pair on this challenge. The regular major pairs have made me consistent money as well. Those will still be traded. They move great when the dollar is moving in a predictable way. When that isn't the case, I choose simply to not trade them. Also, I've been putting much more emphasis on the yen pairs this year. Those are another group of pairs that tend to trend for very long periods of time. I'm talking weeks and months. So the chance of you getting 3R or even 10R from a trade is very likely. You can hold on to trades without worrying about them flipping on you. So with these pair changes also came some changes to my risk management. I'm now using a minimum stop loss of 20 pips no matter what the pair is. Before, I was using 4 pip, 10 pip stop losses a lot of the time. This wasn't giving my trades enough room to breathe, and I was getting stopped out before anything had the chance to materialize. The downside is the trades do take longer, sometimes even longer than a week to go through. I didn't even know what a swap fee was before because I never really held trades overnight. They can definitely rack up once you've held a big trade for a couple of days, but even still, it's much better to let them run and get the maximum amount of reward when possible. And the final change is I've decided to take some days off from trading during the week. There are times when the dollar is stalled out, almost no movement is happening, so it doesn't really make sense for me to get up almost 2 hours earlier and sit for the trading session if there won't be any trades to take. I've finally gotten used to the news cycle of the New York session, very different from the London session, but I actually like it now. This upcoming week has heavy news on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. These events can make it very easy to snag some heavy profits in a short amount of time. This eliminates that issue with having to hold trades for days and days and racking up heavy swap fees in the process. So those are pretty much my major changes for 2024. I'm now going to cover some of the better trades I've taken so far this year, just like old times. All right, so one of the first really good trades I took was on January 5th, and this was on the UCAD. You can see this was right over here. Got a big move up that was in the middle of a move that should have went down. So I believe I did use a 20 pips stop loss there, and that's at least a 3, if not like a 4 or 5. So that was a pretty decent one there. Yeah, that was, I think, the first actual good trade that I took this time around. And the next really good trade, I think this is one of my first S&P trades ever, was on January 8th. And this was right around the start of the session. So with most of these trades, I'm using, I guess you would say 300 pips or 30. I'm not sure what you want to call that. 300. And I believe I took this at 2. But it went all the way to at least 3 over here, and it continued to go up after that. So I really could have held that trade all the way until now. Who knows what it would be at now. So that was one of my first really good one there. All right, and the next really good trade was on January 10th. This was on the GBP yen, and I think this was my first yen trade of the year. Ended up being really good. So that was around here somewhere. I most likely use a 20, probably a 40 pip stop loss on this one. I believe I went for 2. So let's see, 80, actually even 120. I'm sure that went through as well. Okay, so I think I did take it. Yeah, so it went through over here actually. So I'm not sure if I went for 2 or 3, but either way it would have went through. It probably, yeah, it would have went even farther than that. So that was a really good trade there. The yen pairs are really good for long trends. And next up we have my first gold trade. I think, I won't say ever, I've taken gold trades before. This is my first like intentional gold trade. So I took this right around the beginning of the session, I believe right in here. So I've been using, let's see, 35, I guess you would call that 1,000 pips stop loss for my gold trades. And I'll usually go for 3. I think this one I might have taken early. Well, I've had to have taken it early because it came down after that. So decent trade there. This was again one of my first actual gold trades, so I wasn't super confident in it yet, but it went well. Okay, and this was a pretty good move up on the UCAD on January 16th. So it was right around the beginning of the session, right in here. So anytime you get a big pullback in the middle of a move like that, you can almost immediately go in the other direction. So that was good for at least 2, which is probably where I took it. So that was a pretty easy one there too. And then a couple of days later on the 19th, I actually took another trade in the other direction. So this was also right around the beginning of the session, right in here. So I believe I did let this one run to 2, and 3 would have worked also. So that one was pretty good there. All right, and then on the 22nd, I took a U-franc sell. I don't trade this pair a whole lot, but usually when I do, it's usually pretty good. It does tend to trend pretty long. So this one I most likely took before it got to the 2, since it didn't actually make it all the way through to the 2. So I probably took it around here somewhere, 1.8 or so, and it peekabooed out and then continued to go down more. So I could have used an even bigger stop loss, like a 40, and it would have actually been fine. But it worked for the short term anyway. And then I did take another gold trade. This was a buy here on the 29th. And I believe I took it right in here after this big move down. So I want to say like right in there. So I was using 1,000 pips on the stop loss. So most likely, let's see. So yeah, 3R would have worked, probably even 4. It's most likely still going to continue going up, but I don't want to really be holding trades for like 2-3 weeks. That's a little bit too long. The swap fee is just going to eat up the trade. So I do try to get them done within like 3 or 4 days if possible. And then my most recent and biggest trades that I took were on, the first one was on February 2nd on the S&P. So this was right here on this giant pullback here. Actually, I remember this trade. I was kind of nervous about this one. So I did end up taking it, I believe at 2 reward. I believe this was Friday, right? Yeah, so this was a Friday. I think it was NFP Friday. So it was a really easy move, but I didn't want to hold the trade over the weekend, even though I should have, because it continued to go up over here. So then I got back into it on the 5th, which was Monday. So I got back into it over here. So really I could have just stayed in the original trade and just let that one run. And like I said earlier, if I would have just let these run all the way, I would actually already be done with the challenge. So I should have just let them run. But you know, I'm still kind of new to the S&P pair, so I'm getting used to it still, but it's actually been one of the better pairs I've traded so far this year. So I'm really glad that I added it in. Overall, I'm very happy with my performance so far. Oddly enough, taking a slower and more steady approach to this has gotten me much better results than when I was trying to rush through it. This is only possible now that FTMO is offering an unlimited time period to get the challenge done. With the old rules, I would have had to already start the challenge over due to me being over the 30-day limit that they used to have, even though I'm in a profit. I have about 5K more to go to finally finish this thing up. I've decided to scrap all of my compound cycles and start over with my 0.2% risk that I was originally using. I'm so close to the goal. In the past, I blew some big profits by going too hard trying to rush to the finish line. Even if it takes another week or two to finish it, I'm okay with that. So just like before, I'm using the same 3R compounding strategy that I've gone over in some of my other videos. Had I let my last S&P trade run all the way through, I would already be done. I got a little scared and took the profit early, but it's really fine. I honestly should be able to finish up the rest of the challenge portion by Friday of this upcoming week. And then I'll have to complete the verification stage, and that is a 10K profit target. That part should take about 3 weeks, maybe a month's tops, and then I'll be done with the whole thing. So I'm really excited to be able to make pretty much a solid 1K per week at minimum. After that, I may throw a compound trade in there every now and then. I really should be able to pull around more like 10K per month on this thing, which is pretty awesome. This is the first step in getting my trading business to where I want it to be. Really glad I stuck with it. I'm now in year 4 and I'm finally getting the hang of it. I kept telling everybody it really takes about 2 to 4 years to get it down, and I'm standing by that statement. It's basically a money printer and doesn't even require much time out of your week, so I don't know why anyone would think that it would be easy. But it's totally worth the time commitment. You just have to keep trading, learning, reading, doing courses and everything else, anything to help you gain the competitive advantage. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit the like button, leave me a comment and let me know what you think. Version 3.0 of the course is still in the works. If you purchase version 2.0 of the course, you'll still get the new version free of charge. I'll be adding all of my new 2024 changes to the course as well. You can check it out at ccxcollective.com. I hope you all enjoy your Super Bowl weekend. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you soon.